Guru Nation, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode. This is actually an exciting episode. This artificial intelligence lab in London claims breakthrough that could accelerate drug discovery. And this happened a few days ago. Researchers at DeepMind say they have solved the protein folding problem, a task that has bedeviled scientists for more than 50 years. So basically, here's a computer model of folded protein targets studied by DeepMind scientists. Some scientists spend their lives trying to pinpoint the shape of tiny proteins in the human body. Proteins are the microscopic mechanisms that drive the behavior of viruses, bacteria, the human body, and all living things. They begin as a string of chemical compounds before twisting and folding into three-dimensional shapes that define what they can do and what they cannot do. For biologists, identifying the precise shape of a protein often requires months, years, or even decades of experimentation. It requires skill, intelligence, and more than a little elbow grease. Sometimes they never succeed. Now, an artificial intelligence lab in London has built a computer system that can do the job in just a few hours, perhaps even a few minutes. So DeepMind, which is this lab owned by the same parent company as Google, Alphabet is the name of the parent company, said on Monday, that was this week, that they have solved what is known as the protein folding problem. Given the string of amino acids that make up a protein, the system can rapidly and reliably predict its three-dimensional shape. This long-sought breakthrough could accelerate the ability to understand diseases, develop new medicines, and unlock mysteries of the human body. So this is the part here in this New York Times article from just this week, November 30th. Okay, this long-sought breakthrough could accelerate the ability to understand diseases, develop new medicines, and unlock mysteries of the human bodies. I'm predicting that, we were already predicting, for those that follow the podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel regularly, we already know how bullish I am on this industry and how busy I think it's going to get in the next year. 2021 is going to be busy. 2020 was extremely busy because of COVID. COVID actually created a whole bunch of new studies, added a whole bunch of new studies to the marketplace, so it increased the supply and the demand for researchers, and therefore the industry needed more sites, more CRAs, more coordinators, more PIs, more patients, more everything. Okay, more vendors. It was good for everybody in the industry. This could do the same thing on a long-term scale. So basically, what this article is saying, this is the New York Times. Okay, this could accelerate the ability to understand diseases, develop new medications, and unlock mysteries of the human bodies. We might be on the cusp of a golden age of clinical research. The drug discovery process, the aspect of finding a molecule that could be a candidate for whatever hypothesis researchers are trying to study. That part has been sped up, at least according to DeepMind, which is the Alphabet, the parent company of Google, with their AIs. They can actually predict the shape of proteins. And this could help scientists create drugs quicker. Okay, computer scientists have struggled to build such a system for more than 50 years. For the last 25, they have measured and compared their efforts through a global competition called the Critical Assessment of Structure Prediction. Until now, DeepMind solved the problem with a wide range of proteins, reaching an accuracy level that rivaled physical experiments. Many scientists had assumed that moment was still years, if not decades away. I always hoped I would live to see this day, said John Malt, a professor at the University of Maryland. As part of this year's CASP, DeepMind's technology was reviewed, and other researchers who oversaw the contest. If DeepMind's methods can be refined, he and other researchers said they can speed the development of new drugs, as well as efforts to apply existing medications to new viruses and diseases. The breakthrough arrives too late to make a significant impact on the coronavirus, but researchers believe DeepMind's methods could accelerate their response to future pandemics. Some believe it could also help scientists gain a better understanding of genetic diseases along the lines of Alzheimer's or cystic fibrosis. However, experts caution that this technology would affect only a small part of the long process by which scientists identify new medicines and analyze disease. It was also unclear when or how DeepMind would share its technology with other researchers. DeepMind is one of the key players in a sweeping change that has spread across academia, the tech industry, and the medical community over the past 10 years. Thanks to an artificial intelligence technology called neural network, machines can now learn to perform many tasks that were once beyond their reach, and sometimes beyond the reach of humans. A neural network is a mathematical system loosely modeled on the network of neurons in the brain. It learns skills by analyzing vast amounts of data. So this is going into how the AI actually works. Here's where it gets interesting for us researchers, potentially. If scientists can predict the shape of a protein in the human body, they can determine how other molecules will bind or physically attach to it. This is one way drugs are developed. A drug binds to particular proteins in your body and alters their behavior. By analyzing thousands of known proteins and their physical shapes, a neural network can learn to predict the shapes of others. In 2018, using this method, DeepMind entered the CASP contest for the first time, and it outperformed all others. So this is more about DeepMind. There's another article that says it will change everything. This is from Nature. DeepMind's program called AlphaFold outperformed around 100 other teams in a biennial protein structure prediction challenge called the CASP, short for Critical Assessment of Structure Prediction. It's a game changer, says Andre Lupus, an evolutionary biologist at the Max Planck Institute for Developmental Biology in Germany, who has assessed the performance of different teams. AlphaFold has already helped him find the structure of a protein that has vexed his lab for a decade, and he expects it will alter how he works and the questions he tackles. In some cases, AlphaFold structure predictions were indistinguishable from those used using the gold standard, such as X-ray crystallography. Proteins are the building block of life. This goes into why this is important. If you're an optimist, the way you look at this is, okay, we're going to be able to respond to pandemics better. If we can predict the way proteins fold, then we can create molecules that bind to those proteins that can affect those proteins. Because if we know how the proteins fold, we know how to bind molecules to it. Another bullish aspect beyond pandemics is we can create drugs quicker. There's not really much of a bearish assessment other than this is not as valuable as people are making it out to be, which I don't think is the case. Faster structures. An AlphaFold prediction helped determine the structure of a bacterial protein that the lab has been trying to crack for years. Let's see here. In early 2020, the company released predictions of the structures of a handful of SARS-CoV-2 proteins that hadn't yet been determined experimentally. DeepMind's predictions for a protein called ORF3A ended up being very similar to one later determined through cryo-EM. What they have been able to do is very impressive. Real-world impact. It could mean that lower quality and easier to collect experimental data would be all that's needed to get a good structure of a molecule, okay, to solve protein structures. Some applications, such as the evolutionary analysis of proteins, are set to flourish because the tsunami of available genomic data right now can be reliably translated into structures. This is going to empower a new generation of molecular biologists to ask more advanced questions. So at the end of the day, guys, I think this is like really good news for us in clinical research. I think you need to become a generalist as quickly as possible, which basically means specialize in every aspect that you can in your career. And towards the end of your career, you should be a generalist because this stuff's happening fast. Like these guys even admitted they didn't expect this discovery to take place until the end of this decade, and it's already taking place at the beginning. So look into it. I'm very excited as a clinical researcher about this. I think that we're going to have even more studies now, and we're going to have hopefully faster treatments and cures. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and talk to you guys soon.